Troy Taylor, former Stanford head coach, has been fired. He was fired by Stanford general manager Andrew Luck. Now, this makes Andrew Luck the first general manager in college football history to fire a team's coach. Now, Coach Fred, Troy Taylor obviously is in the news. He was accused by several female staffers at Stanford of aggressive and hostile behavior, towards different colleagues, most of whom are women. Now, Andrew Luck makes the step of firing Troy Taylor. Andrew Luck earlier this week and last week, I believe, had nothing to say regarding this matter. Now we see Andrew Luck put his foot down and fire Troy Taylor. I'll go ahead and read a statement from Stanford football general manager Andrew Luck. He says, "I took the role of Stanford football general manager with a strong vision for building a new winning era for our football program. Stanford has always set the standard for excellence with our university's unique leadership in both athletics and academics, and I have no doubt that our program's best days lie ahead. Since beginning my role as general manager, I have been thoroughly assessing the entire Stanford football program. It has been clear that certain aspects of the program need change. Additionally, in recent days, there has been significant attention to Stanford's investigations in previous years related to Coach Taylor. After continued consideration, it is evident to me that our program needs a reset. In consultation with university leadership to lead our football program, Coach Taylor has been informed today, and the change is effective immediately. A search for new coaching leadership in football has begun, and an acting coach may be named for the 2025 season. Coach Fred, wow, this is where we're at in college football. I have a buddy that played for Stanford this past season, and he had some things to say about Troy Taylor. I'm not going to go into it, but Coach Fred, I got to ask you, what are your thoughts on Andrew Luck becoming the first general manager to fire a head coach, and then your thoughts on the Troy Taylor situation in general?
Again, like you said, I won't touch the Coach Taylor situation, but I just have a few. I still haven't figured out what the general manager aspect of things really is about. I just know that a lot of universities, a lot of teams are going to it to having those type of people brought into the program. Secondly, where's the AD in this? Is the general manager now the AD? Where's the president in this?
Right.
Where do all these people sit in this pecking order? Is it the AD when we're talking athletics, or is it the general manager when we're talking athletics? Who outweighs who? I think this comes off better if this comes from the AD, the president, someone other than the general manager, because this has all been thrown out to, everybody new. I think this year, maybe.
Yeah.
When teams really started announcing that position.
Yeah, and from what I understand, it's basically a director of football ops redone in a new title.
Different title.
Yeah,
that's same thing.
Yeah, and that, from what I understand, that's what it is. You've seen teams across college football bring in a general manager. You saw Oklahoma do it. You saw Texas Tech retain their general manager, not let him leave to Notre Dame. Here, you saw obviously North Carolina. Bill Belichick hired Michael Lombardi, obviously longtime NFL executive, worked with Belichick now as their general manager. So you're seeing teams elect to go with the general manager, whatever you want to call it. From what my understanding, it's renamed director of football operations, basically to handle this professional football is what it is, with all the not contracts, but NIL, money, and recruiting. I got to ask you, and I wanted to actually, before I ask you this, I want to go ahead and show former Stanford offensive lineman, and actually been on the show, Levi Rogers, talking about Andrew Luck being Stanford's general manager and the impact that he will have on Stanford's football program. Take a listen. Stanford's hired a general manager, and Andrew Luck to become the football program's general manager. We've seen other schools like North Carolina bring in Michael Lombardi, among other schools bring in general managers to kind of oversee the team in this NIL era. Do you have any thoughts on this and how he may impact Stanford's football program? We'll start there.
Dude, I think it's awesome. I think it's a really great decision by them. Andrew is awesome. We've had lunch together, and he's like one of a kind. His mindset is amazing. His knowledge about football and just like the world is awesome. So I think his role is going to be very impactful for the program. And I mean, he's going to be overseeing kind of from like athletic director perspective, taking care of like the business side of things and whatnot, which is going to be special because I think, that's one thing that we lacked last year and like in the past, it's hard at Stanford, bro. Like there's not, all this attention on football just because it's such a prestigious school. It's different than the Ohio States and, Bama and Georgia.
Absolutely. Coach Fred, what are your thoughts on Levi's comments there? Andrew Luck as a impact he may have as Stanford's general manager.
I don't think he meant in this way.
Yeah, I don't, because I know I've talked to Levi about this briefly. I don't know if he expected quite an impact so fast, Coach Fred.
Right.
Firing the head coach that quick.
I would love to see what that job description entails.
Right.
And I only ask, that, Bailey, because you're talking about firing someone, a head coach of the biggest, sport revenue driven probably piece of asset that you have in your university. And they fell on hard times, but they're Stanford. Let's not make any bones about it. Their donor list is probably from here to where you at, Bailey, Nashville?
Yeah, Nashville.
Nashville.
Yeah.
And that's in fine print. So, they have enough names to call to, generate revenue for the university. So, Andrew wasn't going to be particularly that figurehead, but I just didn't see the figure of being the executioner, so to speak. So now, will he be the one to hire the next guy? I think in that letter there, he said somewhere that it was possible for a interim for next season.
Yes.
Now, let me add the speculation to the Bailey Price show.
Absolutely.
Now, is he going to step in?
Oh, really?
And be the head coach?
Yeah.
That door is open. Think about it. Read that part of it. That door is open.
Now, wow. I never even thought of that, Coach Fred. He doesn't have any coaching experience, does he?
Pure speculation, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Damn, Fred. I didn't even think of that. That is something probably to think about at least. Like, fuck. I don't know how much coaching experience Luck has. But yeah, that's something to watch. He does say in this letter, an acting coach may be named for the 2025 season. Our focus remains on supporting our student athletes, blah, 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 blah. I get the point. But yeah, go ahead.
May be named. Maybe.
Yeah.
If we don't get the right name, I'll do it.
Yeah, that would be big. Let me throw this name at you. And this is somebody I think, he was just hired by the Lions. David Shaw. David Shaw was just hired. I think he's their passing game coordinator, if I want to say. That's a name I've seen thrown out like crazy since this news broke.
Remember, he had a heck of a run there.
Yeah.
And it kind of all fell apart maybe in a 2-year span. And then I think after that, he was gone. But, from when he was there to now, think of how much college football has changed, Bailey. You know what I mean? He's there with Christian McCaffrey. Would he be able to hang on to a Christian McCaffrey at Stanford if it starts to go downhill with Oregon up the road with a lot of money, with USC over there with a lot of money? So it's a different landscape, but, Coach Shaw has pro background. Andrew has pro background. And then my thing is, I get – how long did the investigation go? I get it. You had the investigation into the bullying and all that. And I think that started right after Christmas, January-ish.
Right. Yeah. I don't know when their actual investigations. So I would like to know. I don't know.
I could be wrong, but I think it
was more recent. But I'll find out. But yeah, keep going.
I think it was more second semester. So let's say even if it was February, and no one has come out with any findings or released any statements. I guess technically they don't have to, but to just up and fire someone, general manager, up and fire someone, to me that just leaves a lot to be out there, you know.
Yeah, this is a big time news. I don't think people are really reacting to in this way. Obviously, Troy Taylor was brought in after David Shaw stepped down a few years ago. Joe Accord in the chat, Shaw wasn't fired; he stepped down. But nonetheless, Coach Fred, going back on Stanford, first time a general manager has fired a head coach in college football history in this new NIL era of college football. Last thing I'll say on Stanford, I just think it's tough for them in general already. Stanford's a tough-ass school. Like, obviously, it's like it's Harvard of the country. And it's really, really difficult, them competing in the SEC, to compete with different type of schools in that conference. Man, I just think I don't. It's tough for me to see a future where Stanford's good just because of them having to go and recruit and transfer portal, whatever, to Stanford. It's just not. I don't know.
Nobody, and it's not like you can just get in school there. It's not like they're just giving you a bunch of waivers to field a team. So hey, we'll give you 35 waivers for admission to go get a base team that we'll build off of. You still got to get in under your academic merit. Not to say they can't find kids with the academic merit to get accepted to Stanford, but like you said, how many that have that academic merit is going to Stanford?
And that's really the biggest point, is because I know my buddy Levi, who we just showed the clip of, his process coming out of high school, because I played right next to him in high school. His process going to Stanford, they can't even offer him until they know that he can get into the school. Like, they care that you can get into the school first, then they'll go and get you. Then you also have to be the type of player they want. There's so many hurdles that I don't think people don't understand that, or don't play or are in this business really understand. There's so many things that go into going to Stanford. It's no joke, but
just like Vanderbilt.
Yeah, just like Vandy.
Any of the Ivy Leagues.
Yeah.
Miami was supposed to be that, being that they're private.
Yeah.
But they've kind of given some leniency to their football program.
That's true.
SMU, from my understanding. So, there's college programs that are really tough to field playoff type teams just because of the admissions process,
Yeah, absolutely. Again, people don't talk about it that much, but that is a very real factor, especially in this day and age, Coach Fred. But nonetheless, Andrew Luck, Stanford's general manager, fires Troy Taylor. Stanford football is now looking for another head coach.